Welcome back to my Sorare journey. If you don't know what this is, it's basically a series where I go through right from the rookie league of Sorare right to where I am today, making a video every time I find something eventful. And yeah, in the last couple of days there's been some eventful things. I think my last episode was only 2 days ago, so something must have happened, so let's get into it. Basically, if you remember in my last videos, I finally made my biggest ever purchase, spent 4 figures, about 1.6k on Albon Lafont, and he got sold. He got sold, what's that, 4 days later? And I sold him for, 710 ETH. That's why I say I ignore the decimal point sometimes. I bought him for 710, sold him for 870. So a good bit of profit there. In sterling terms, that's £315 in less than a week. So I couldn't really pass up on that. It was just, bought outright from me. One of the things on Sorare, the easiest thing to do, and it's just common sense advice really, is always put yourself, when you can, in win-win situations. So if Lafont got sold, or if Lafont played in my team this week, I could not care less. I was happy either way. If anything, I'd probably rather the ETH, and the reason for that is just the new season League 1 and League 1 French cards are coming out. And the reason I know that is that basically all of the photos have changed. So if you click on Lafont, you can see his photo here, it looks new, it's updated, and this is his last card, so you can see it's updated. The same's happened for Etienne Green, it's happened for, basically all of the clubs. It's a little tip when you can see kind of what's coming next. So, what am I doing with the funds and why did I sell them, I guess? So I can actually show you the team I'm putting out, or would have put out, in the Global Under-23s, and I finally got there because I've actually got exactly the same team. I just haven't got a rare goalkeeper. So you can see Lafont here gets a minus 41% if you're new, because he's common, aka free. But, looking at the team, Calfiore didn't play on Thursday. Randall Muani's away, I've got a tough game. I'm not sure if this Kukashev is going to play. He played the last game, but it's kind of the first game that he's played. And Song-Min Koo had an awful stinker last time. So I looked at my team and thought, it's not actually as competitive as I thought. Maybe next week it might have been, but I knew the new season cards were coming out and they're going to drop. So I put him on the lowest on the market, but well above what I paid for him, and someone actually snapped him up, so happy days for me. Just going to show kind of the price graphs. I think this was one of the first of Arsene Zakarian's auctions, and then you can just see all the way down, it just trickles down because there's more supply and demand, very basic stuff. So it's gone from 510 to 393 in rares, and that's kind of the same thing that I guesstimate will happen with the font. The only thing here is that someone's gone out and been kind of a market maker, and I might do a separate Sorare Made Easy video on this, but in collectibles and things like this where you can't really have a market, people just use the last sold. So when you go out and make a last sold, be a market maker, that is what everyone else will basically have to pay. And yeah, fair play to the guy. When I consider Lafont, I looked at Champion Europe keepers, and he's undervalued compared to them. I mean, I can see why someone went out and paid the asking price for him without even putting an offer in. So I think it's kind of both win-win for both of us, because my team wasn't competitive. He gets a strong keeper that's still undervalued, and hopefully if the new season cards come out and I can get a bit of money, I'll buy into them. But what am I doing at the moment? Let's see. So my club, you will see a lot of acquisitions hopefully. Yes, so obviously I've dipped into the limited market. You can see them all here, and it's an interesting one. It's definitely a bit touch and go, because a lot of people have been saying how stupid it is to pick up limited cards this early. They've only minted 10, 12, I think 18 or 21 is my highest here. And, there's 1,000 more of them to come. They're just going to go down in price, and I couldn't agree more. But, a large part I think that people are missing is that there's 500 of these that they've got to split across the year. And I did a quick calculation down the bottom here somewhere, which is 42 cards a month. And when Monaco was released, I think everyone knows this player is one of the most highly tipped players in France, and key fact for all of the players I picked up. I've somehow got a great sense of picking up names I can't say, so that'd be a good laugh, but we'll go with Aurélien Tchouameni. I'm awful, but whatever. Yeah, he's one of the best players in France. They put out 30 of his limited cards in one day. So if you think you need to have 42 cards per month. They've put out 30 in a day. They're either going to have to keep putting out as many as that and run short at the end, or they're going to kind of put out as many as they can at the start with the initial hype's there, and then slowly but surely drag out the supply. And I kind of expect that to happen. So when you can get in early, you can train your XP, and I've said how XP is going to be so important in the Limited League. You get into the Division 5 first game week, which, you know, has silly rewards when you think about how cheap you can get a team into how much you can win. I really just think it's kind of a great opportunity that a lot of teams are missing. And besides that, I've been like, you know, putting a couple of complaints out there, putting my opinion out there that I don't really think D1 and D2 players should be competing in D5. And it's like, it's highly up for debate. And if you think the opposite, that's completely fine. I completely see your side of the argument. But basically for me, you know, newcomers coming in shouldn't be, you know, put down by all of the bigger galleries winning all the rewards. And that's currently kind of what happens in D4. But to be fair, I looked at a lot of the big galleries I know and they haven't been competing, so it's kind of win-win at the moment. As long as they don't jump in and go as hard as they can and pick up all the Messis or the Kimmiches, it should be okay for now. So, you know, I found the league is a bit softer, the rewards are better, you get right from the jump and slightly more collectible cards. So you can see here, I've got the 21, which matches his age, which, you know, slightly more collectible, but even if you get the 1 to 10, 1 to 10 is going to be more collectible than 11 to 59, and that's going to be more collectible than 59 to 1,000. Like, it's just little things like that that make your card slightly more attractive, where if you price them at the same price, you're going to get bought. And that's kind of what I think of it. So, you know, how have I played that? Because I've gone from my strategy, which I've always said is capital appreciation, and I've slightly switched it up now, because I've always said you want to dominate a league and you want to win rewards, and I can't do that in D4. I simply haven't got the capacity. So in D5, I thought, I'm going to try and be the bully of the league. I'm going to try and be that whale. So I went with Thomas Didleon. He's kind of a lower end keeper in the league, but scores really well. And the reason I kind of liked him is the fact that, you know, he's going to get a lot of save points. So clean sheets are obviously important for a keeper, but I think saves are almost more important, where if you get the saves and the clean sheets, you're going to get a much better score on average. And then Rasmus Christensen, he is the captain for the week. He is supposed to be absolutely sensational. I want to shout out John Nellis and the guy that he did the video with on this league, on the Austrian Bundesliga, because it was actually so helpful for me. I was never going to buy any of the cards. And this guy said he basically runs the league. It's an embarrassment for him to watch it because he's that good. He's just so much better. And it kind of just reminded me of like Van Dijk in the Premier League, where he plays centre-back, makes all the tackles, passes, scores when he can. And in his last couple of games, he's got 100. He's got 200, sorry. So, you know, for me, I see this guy being like, you know, the run-of-the-mill go-to in the under-23s defenders, where he's just going to put up silly scores. I'm pretty sure his average is wrong as well. I mean, 100, 100, 62, 66 cannot average 55, so I don't know what's going on. If you check Sorare data, there is also the only scores he's got is from the Champions League and Europa League, so it's a bit like, don't take his average as a real average. When he's playing in the league, it's going to be much higher. There is a long break, which I found out in the Austrian Bundesliga, but yeah, it doesn't bother me. You can just sit on those cards. Victor Wanyama been scoring brilliant for me at the moment. Kara, or Erkan Kara, so the guy on the video described the Rapid Vienna as the green team in the Austrian Bundesliga, and I was like, right, I'm sold, because he also described it similar to the SBL, and he said he's a great point scorer. So I had him on my watch list, and when he came up, I thought I'll pick him up. And then we've got the man that everyone's talking about. If you didn't see, Anton Griezmann picked up the super rare 1 of 10 and then posted on his Instagram to about 39 million followers. Everyone was hyped around that. I'd already bought him before I'd seen it, so I was like, that's just sensational. And don't get me wrong, I realised, or I knew at the time, I'm slightly overpaying for a few of these cards, but, you know, for me, I have really high hopes where I can, you know, perform well, finally win a big reward in at least D5 terms. And, you know, I've never done that before, so, you know, it's something to think about. I did make a crucial error. I've got, you know, one of my best friends signed up to Sorare. He's asking me for a bit of help. And my one advice was, when you're starting buying limited cards, start with the goalkeeper. And it actually counts for anyone, you know, buy the goalkeeper first, because it's going to take up the majority of your budget, and then you know how much you can spend on the other cards. And what did I do? Had a couple of drinks on Thursday night and then put all my bids in overnight. I won 4 out of 5 cards. I won my whole team except for the goalkeeper. So I knew in the morning I had about 4 hours to pick up a goalkeeper, and I was going to overpay no matter what. So definitely bought the highest for these. But when you look at Orlean, I picked him up with matching the age to the number for lower than the averages later on in the evening, and they put out 30 in one day when they've got to do on average 42 a month really. So, you know, don't be afraid to go out and pick up some of these limited cards now. There is deals to be had, especially relative value, where you think you get the utility and you get the collectability long term. Yes, you will pay more, but you know, long term it would be better for you. Someone like Diego Laxalt, I was saying last time how, you know, collectors like myself will move to the cheaper versions of cards. Diego Laxalt used to play for Celtic. I actually really liked him. He's not going to put up high scores, but, you know, I want him in my club just to, you know, one of those things. So, you know, I'm happy to kind of, you know, pay, what is it, 30 quid and just have him sit there and score when he needs to in Champion Europe. So yeah, that's the rest of the team basically. I'm still putting out my under-23s team. I'm a bit on the edge about whether I should have bought this one of 1,000 because I think he's really good, but the amount of time I'm going to have to sit on him forward to kind of get my rewards back is tough. Someone actually offered me on the day more than I paid for him and I rejected it, so I think I'm going to stick with my guns here. My Asian team's been put out, but you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the Asia League. It's not been great for me recently. So that's kind of how the club's looking. Is there anything else to get into? Yeah, one more thing to mention is I actually picked up Eduardo Camavinga for Rennes. If you don't know about him, he's probably the worst kept secret in football. He's supposed to be the next best thing in France, especially in the midfield. I don't think he'll be, you know, putting in massive scores this year, but he's one of those long-term holds where if new collectors come on the stage, especially kind of sports card, physical collectors, they're just going to go straight for people like this, trying to pick up their rookie card. And this is what I classify as a rookie card in my eyes, you know, 21 and under, I call it, with our first Sorare card. So that's pretty cool. I saw Jay Nellis picked up the 10 of 1,000, which also matched his shirt number, which was cool. Quinny jumped in with one. You know, two guys I highly respect and were really helpful to me when I started. So, you know, following there, what they're doing is never a bad idea, and everyone knows how good this guy is. And when they're putting out 30 in a day, you know, think how many buys there are to supplies at the end of the day. I think it's a good time to get in. I think getting in early with these rare cards is something that no one's really doing, but you know, it's one of those where you're going to end up with egg in your face, you're going to look really clever. So we'll see in the coming game week. You know, I'm really hoping for something good this week. And yeah, if you need any help, please do. Check out my other playlists on the channel. I try and have everything for everyone. And yeah, if you did like this, subscribe, like it, and yeah, all the best to you. Cheers.